Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Vibes Inside. I am Mariana and I'm here to do a new moon reading in the sign of Taurus. Okay, so I'm cleansing my space here now. And I think this is quite significant actually for what this is about. I have two colors on the table. This is love and fire, right? Heart and fire. And I feel like I'm not quite sure what the cards will bring forth, but I have like, it's either or, right? Either I choose the heart or I choose to fight, right? Or either I choose love or I choose to be with something that is more confrontive, right? What am I part of? The cleansing is about cleaning your life, you could say. What am I choosing? Am I choosing to be in something that is confrontive? Or am I choosing something that is heart-oriented, which is normally more peace-oriented? Or am I choosing the fire? Fire usually has to do with tension, excitement, thrill. It has to do with sometimes addictions, right? It's confrontive, it's aggressive, it's but again, like the span of fire is from, like I've said before when I tried to like describe fire, that fire can start with something that is just pleasurable, like it's nice. It feels good. It's exciting. Maybe it's a new thrill in life. The thrill of life usually goes up and down and up and down. That's how fire works, right? It starts with just a spark, and it can go up and up and up and up, but then usually there is a downfall, right? Or there is a when we say fire, don't play with fire, right? That fire can be difficult to handle, right? It can get out of control. If you play with fire, it can easily get out of control and become this extreme like forest fire, right? Where you can't handle it. Now it has gotten out of control. And so when you start something and it's a thrill, it's funny. Sometimes to get the same feeling of fun, you have to add a little bit extra. Like you have to put a little bit extra in. That's why when we talk about passions or sexual desires, or sexual play games, role playing, you start with something, but then you have to add a little bit, and you have to add a little bit, otherwise you can't get the same, or it requires a little bit more. Playing with fire can end up as a start of a little spark, ending with a big addiction or something like that. That fire can be power, right? In the fire department, you have the power dynamics. Who is in charge? Who is the boss? Who is leading? And you could say we see that in nature as well, that the one in charge needs to demonstrate their leadership or their power. We see it in nature with animals fighting. Who is in charge? Who is the boss? Who is the leader? It has to be manifested again and again and again and again through some kind of action or some kind of achievement. Masculine energy in that way can be like needs to make an example, needs to show itself. It needs to show up and show itself and demonstrate some kind of power. So it needs reinforcement, right? It needs to be reinforced. So this is on one side, and then we have this other area here. This is totally different. This area is way more, I want to say, stable. Like it doesn't have this up and down and up and down. This is a peace area. This is an area of, I want to say, this is like when someone has found God, right? Let's just, I know this, but just hear me out. When someone has found God, they can sit in quiet prayer. And the feeling that you have, the feeling you get, what you get in return, you could say, or the meditation you sit in, is very stable. It's very calm and very stable, and very kind and caring and very honest. And it doesn't need reinforcement in that way. It's a giving space. It's a mutual, you could say, from the one who chooses to sit in prayer, and what they feel they get in return, or what they are connected with, is very kind and peaceful. So I have this feeling that this Taurus new moons can be about new beginnings. It can be about a new earth. I want to say it's an earth sign. It's Venusian, right? Taurus is ruled by Venus. I feel there is a contrast coming up. It's like you can see what is over here and what is here. It's like being presented with, where in my life do I feel this, and where in my life do I feel this, right? Like, and it's like you can see it, or the contrast of this new moon is significant, I feel like. It's like you can see what areas of life that feels like this, and what areas of life feels like this. It can be people, places. It could be how and what do you choose? Like again, it's like an invitation or a motivation. Where do you go? I started with cleansing the space, right? I started with cleansing my life, or cleansing my space, or cleansing my heart, or something, right? I said in the last full moon reading in Libra, I said something about taking responsibility for your frustrations, like owning when you are frustrated, when you are angry, when you are bitter, when you are feeling hurt, when you and now seeing the contrast, right? Seeing where do I find frustration, and where do I find peace and harmony and balance and love and kindness, and where do I not? Where do I find the opposite? Where do I find power plays, tricks? Where do I find myself leaping into a trap, or I wouldn't say, because fire doesn't have to be that, right? But you have to know it, right? You have to know when you can become addicted. You have to know when you can get into trouble, right? You have to, fire needs to be yielded in some way. And fire can get out of control. When fire gets out of control, you have very selfish people also, right? And when you are in this area, you are rarely here at the same time. It's like you are either here or here. I get this contrast with this Earth new moon. It's interesting because this is water, or normally considered watery, heart-based, and this is fire-based, but I am reading for an earth sign. So for some reason, I feel like this Taurus new moon has to do with the new earth element. If you believe in this, that the earth is going through a change, and we feel it. We can feel how this is coming up. It comes up either here or here. I believe this, and this can be different in your life, right? It depends on maybe where you have Taurus. I don't have much Taurus. The only Taurus that I really have is my IC, which is usually something like roots, like where you come from. In my particularly, the IC indicates maybe a former life, indicating roots, the soul root or something like that. It's an indication of almost like a south note, right? That it's where you, something original in you, something very roots, the hearth fire, something like that. Something you can't, that is indigenous in you in some way. That is IC, and my Taurus, I have Taurus IC. But you can have Taurus in other positions. It doesn't have to be the same, of course. So I'm interested in what this is going to be. So what the cards may come up with. I get contrast. I get something like that this new moon is a new beginning, and you have a choice to make, perhaps. And maybe you are going to see this in your life, like maybe you will be facing or seeing things happening around you, within you, feeling a contrast, right? Feeling this, maybe you feel the urge to go towards something because it's thrilling, inviting, it's alluring, it's fascinating, it's a new adventure, it's new, right? But then you may find yourself, but I have seen this before, right? I know what happens if I go towards this. Maybe you want to go. I'm not a judge here. I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying that I feel that this is, it's almost like a test. It's like a test. What are you going to do? What is it that you're going to choose? Are you choosing love, or are you choosing some passion, perhaps, right? Are you, again, maybe it's something you're realizing in a relationship. What is your relationship built upon? Is it built upon passion, sexual attraction, desire? Is it built upon the dynamics of sex exchange? And I believe, that's my personal belief about sex, that it is a power play. And I know that there are many out there who may not agree, but this is my personal take on it. It has to do with my hearth fire. Like, my hearth fire is based here, right? So when I look at the current exchange between men and women, it lacks heart. Like, there's no heart exchange. Because if there was a heart exchange, there is no ego. Like a mutual heart exchange, true one, there will be no ego. The ego is over here, in the more masculine area. And I'm not here to say that it's wrong. It just is different, right? It's different. This is the feminine area. This is a masculine area. In the feminine area, you usually have a heart exchange. Like two young girls who are best friends. They are in an area of heart exchange. Two boys who are best friends are not. Like, they are here. They like the fun. They like to challenge each other. They like maybe a bit of power play between each other. They like to go and have to climb mountains together. It's two different areas. I'm not saying that any one is better than the other. It's just to understand the difference. The difference between the feminine and masculine energy. I believe personally that we are in a very confused time where we believe that we can have, that men and women are the same. We're not the same. Or masculine and feminine energy is like, it can be one. It can, but usually one is more than the other. Usually one is more than the other. Currently, on Earth, we have a masculine domain, a dominance. So it means that our world is primarily ruled in this area. It also means that feminine brains are adjusted to this. Feminine brains are not thinking like this. Our brains are influenced by this way of thinking, this way of living, this way of getting by. Feminine brains would never think like this. Like, that is not a thing. In the feminine realm, you have connection. In the feminine realm, you have, or I want to say in the love. In the feminine realm, you have the light and love and heart connection. You don't have ego. It doesn't exist. It's not there. It's not necessary. The reason is that when there is a heart exchange, one cannot do something that hurts the other. Like, that's my hearth fire. I come from such place. There is no tricks and plays and power plays, and it's not necessary, because like the exchange is on both sides. Both are connected with each other. It means that there, as I said, there is no ego. Like what is currently going on Earth is ego-based. The ego is the I, like what we call the I. So every time you have a conversation, you say, I am, I don't think, I like, I am a, whatever your identity is linked upon, that's the I. The I is here. Over here you have a, well, to understand it, you would probably say we, right? From an I perspective, it's like a totally different world. Over here, if this is like at its purest condition, there is no such thing as an I. There's only we, I would say. It is an I, but it's connected. Over here you have an I in separation. Over here you have an I in connection. Does that make sense? It's like when two girls are best friends, they are heart friends. They are heart friends. It means that they have become a union. They are a union. And together they are stronger than if they were apart. Does that make sense? It's like they have made a union, and when they are together, both of them feel stronger because they are in a mutual exchange. They are always, that's what the heart connection does. It's a mutual exchange. So many people are looking for this with a partner, right? A man is looking for this exchange with a woman. A woman is looking for this exchange with a man. Okay, that is all good and fine. But in a masculine-driven world where the I orientation is the favored one, the one that is chosen, it means that we have a very difficult time doing this. It's never really and totally connected. This has taken me a long time to figure this out because I too have been raised in this environment. So I too have an I, an identity, a name, a social security number, a gender, and I have a history of this. I grew up in a family with who was ruled by I's. Like my mother had an I, an identity, my father had one, my brother had one, and they were separate. They were not connected. Though we were a family, they are not connected, not at all connected. Every time a child is born, and when the child is born, it's in an omnipotent state. It only is concerned about you could say, its own organism. It has no outer connection yet. When the navel cord is cut and the body at some point realizes that the energy is low, it starts a change from the omnipotent state. It starts a change. It starts to open up and look for outside resources. It starts opening its brain up to communicate with the outside world. So this is where a change is made from a closed, totally, you could say, omnipotent is usually described as very self-absorbed. I don't think there is a self. It's just absorbed in its own beingness. The self has not yet developed. The self has to do with the outer connection, where suddenly it starts calling for help. It needs an outside source to take care of it, and food and so on. In this connection, when it starts connecting to the outside world, I believe this is where the self is built. It now knows that it needs attention from the outside world. There's something in the child that starts to communicate with the outside world, and something is left behind. It's leaving a so-called omnipotent state and starts to communicate with the outside world. Something is left. This other thing that is left is what is never really satisfied inside. It's like it has been abandoned. This is what I believe is what we call the inner child, or this inner voice, this inner self thing, something, is what has been, that feels abandoned in some way. There's a part of us that constantly is in communication with the outside world, and then there's something that is not, that stays. This thing that stays, that cannot communicate, that is somehow not active almost. This is a part of us that never really gets a voice. It never really gets listened to, because this part of us that realizes I have to be in touch with this outside world, that I'm now in this dual exchange somehow. If you can find this inner part of yourself that has been abandoned and reconnect with this part, this is where you find your peace. This is where this comes in. Like that is the peace area. The other one that is in the constant connection with the outside world and this dual exchange is here. This is my personal take on this, right? Over here, you are in a constant exchange back and forth, what we call duality. We call it also conditional love. Because over here, it's never quite exactly what we want. Maybe in the beginning when you fall in love with someone, but then it never really becomes that satisfactory. It's never really exactly how you want it, right? It's somewhat okay. And we get used to that kind of exchange. We settle for that kind of exchange. That's what we can get here. That's the best I could do. the one that really loves you, the one that really cares, the one that is where you can find your peace is inside. They've never left. They cannot leave. They have never left. And it was the one that you in the beginning had an absolute omnipotent experience with, even inside the womb. Before anyone could judge you, because the outer connection is constantly in some kind of judgment. Anyway, but I'm just saying, this is my personal take on this, that there is this world and then there's this world. This world would be a place that is considered almost like paradise, or being in heaven or something like that. It may contradict other kinds. It's not really to reinforce any kind of, you can choose whatever you want. I'm just an explorer of the human mind, of the so-called self, the inner child, what it has to say, what it's longing for, what it's calling for. I believe personally, in a human body, living a human life, the optimal place is somewhere in between. Because as we have realized when we were in an omnipotent state without a navel cord that supported us, we will die if we stay here. On the other hand, this seems like a constant struggle. It is never really that satisfying, or it's only satisfying for a short minute. Then we have to reinforce it again. Being somewhere in between would probably be a good position when being alive and when being in a human form, having a body. In another realm where things are different, maybe it can be different. But here, I would aim for somewhere in between. And to get to the somewhere in between, you have to cleanse. Some of the stuff over here is too much. You have to get rid of some of it to get some of this back. As I said, you have to cleanse, you could say, your inside. You have to cleanse and declutter the inside. Maybe to find this inner part of yourself that is left behind. But if you stay there, it can become almost, you can forget about maintaining life. That is also not, well, it can be addictive in a certain way. Almost narcissistic, maybe. I think like the balance between these two is to finding a balance between these two are so like the connection with the whatever other people may think, whatever other people, how they may judge you, and the connection to this inner self is finding the balance between them. So here again, I talk about where I say my hearth fire is a place like this. You could say this would be a bit like being in the womb, being in paradise, being in Eden. The point with Eden is that it's a garden. So it means that like there is a sense of containment, and this is the garden, right? So there is an outside of the garden and then there is an inside of the garden. The garden means that there is a sense of containment, like the womb, and there's a supply, that something supplies this garden. So it's like there's a provider of some kind, like the navel cord, the mother provides for the child. It doesn't have to do anything. It's like this state of bliss where you can just be, right? You don't have to do anything. It's highly feminine in this. It's a receptive state. You receive, right? That's where this is. And this is a masculine state that usually is very concerned about providing, right? All of us, to a certain point, the incarnation in this realm, being born in this realm, is through the womb. All of us come from this position. So we start out with this. Babies are usually what we call helpless, right? They need help. So they receive some kind of help to survive. So we have to be in a receptive state. We come in as in a feminine state. We leave the earth as elderlies in a feminine state. Again, we become, we can't do the body as an elderly person. It kind of shrinks. We lose muscle. We become more and more feminine. So we come in a feminine state. We die or leave the world as elderlies in a feminine state. My personal observation. And in between those, we start feminine, we enter a masculine realm, we leave a masculine realm, we become feminine again, we leave this world. So we go this interchange between a feminine state, becoming less and less feminine. We enter into this realm, become productive, we do stuff, we pursue stuff, then we leave it again, we are retiring, we become elderly, we die, we leave this world from a feminine state. That's how I see this world. So there's this interchange between very internal, very feminine, to outer oriented, to leaving this space, becoming more eventually, just before a person dies, they become very introverted, very locked down, almost like an infant just born, not wanting to communicate with the outer world. It chooses to lock down, close the eyes, not communicate, right? That's we start like this, we end like this. And then there's this in between where we are in these different realms here. Does that make sense? Okay. And where you are on this journey, are you here somehow, or are you here? Are you And I think that when we fall in love, we intertwine. We may have been in this realm doing on our own, living on our own, because over here it's very much on your own. You're on your own over here. Right? And here you become more connected with God. You have a stronger connection with the God area or home area, or let's say where souls come from. Paradise. Where do souls come from? Do they come from the Garden of Eden? Do they come from a space where they are taken care of? From a garden, or whatever you may call it, a containment. Containment is not confinement, right? Containment just means that something holds like a home, right? That there's something that holds you, and you may not even know what it is. But something is providing something. Like there is a bubble or something, which when we are here and we are on our own, that would be what we call the masculine, right? We know the masculine to be called like the provider, the one that maintains the perimeter, right? That there is something that holds the perimeter, that defends it. The leader of the flock, the herd leader, is the one that defends he is on the edge, right? The holder of the defender, you could say, the provider and defender is the one who is on the edge, right? From the garden and outside the garden. Outside the garden, you have these dynamics. So when you are expelled from the Garden of Eden, you are outside of it. So now you are out where this rules. You have to be the strongest. You have to survive. There is no protection, right? That is kind of the idea. Here there is protection. Here you are connected. Here you are connected with something else. Out here you are on your own, and this is also what you see in society, right? We are being raised to be on our own, do on our own, make it on our own, build from our own self. What we have learned in school and so on, but you are on your own here. You have to do it. That's why the power plays are here, right? You have an opponent. You have a rival. Maybe you are not the only one applying for the job. You have someone else competing with you. That's here, right? Everything in our world, the Western world, where I am situated, you have this. I believe that it's very much on your own. Make it on your own, right? And then you have other places on earth where you may have a little more on this. But I think that the we orientation on earth is out of fear. It's out of lack and fear that we have a we orientation. In poor countries where we see that families stick together because alone you won't make it. You won't survive. So they stick together, but primarily out of lack. I want to say though that where my soul comes from, my hearth fire is from a place like this, but not based on lack. It's based on love. So when I look at this world we live in, it's extremely lonely. I have the feeling, but that's just my perspective, right? I have the feeling that this new moon is going to show this very, very directly to people, right? That there's something. What is it you want, right? What is it that that something in you is longing for? And if you want something, you have to go and get it. It won't come in by itself. If you don't find yourself being where you are, you have to cleanse, right? You have to cleanse. You have to make sure that if you are not where you want to be, you have to cleanse it. Like I'm doing now, you have to cleanse your space. You have to take care of it. It's your responsibility. Even if, let's say, your parents don't like it, your family don't like it, your spouse don't like it, your children don't like it, if you are not happy, you have to take care of it. You have to choose it. You have to choose you. I have the feeling that this new moon is really going to show you where you are feeling at home, surrounded by something that cares, and where you feel you are on a battlefield. I'm not saying that either is bad. I do believe that some people find that this is where they belong because they are originally masculine. The hearth fire is masculine. If you, like me, have a feminine hearth fire, you belong here. You feel like you are being strangled over here, right? That there's no oxygen here for you. This is dualistic power, right? It's different, and I know that there are levels to this, and there's usually people blend in between these, right? They blend in. But there is something that is your hearth fire. There's something that is the original root. And if you are not surrounded by something like this, you will feel like you have no oxygen. That's why when we meet up on a date and you find someone intriguing, you are lured in by them, you are attracted to them. That when there's an attraction, there's a tension. That's why some dates will end up in a friend zone, and some dates can be in a hot, sexy encounter, right? The tension is the hot, sexy encounter. This is where you are with an opposite. The hot, sexy encounter. Other people, there is no such experience. They end up in the friend zone. The hot, sexy encounter is with attention. There's attention. There is some kind of excitement, some kind of tension, which is not there in the friend zone. The friend zone is, you could say, without excitement, without tension, without attraction. The tension has to do with this. Some kind of power, some kind of dynamic. I believe it has to do with power. The friend zone is the opposite. The friend zone is where there is no such dynamic. Usually in that area, it's more relaxed. Like your senses are way more heightened in the sexy encounter, hot sexy encounter. Your senses are, your pupils are dilating. You are way more, you could say, alert, or you're way more on. In the friend zone, you're not that on. It's more relaxed. It's not that exciting. You're not that on. You're not even maybe that interested. What this tells us is that we get on, lit on, when there's tension. What this tells us is that we are drama queens or kings. It means that our brains and bodies are addicted to drama. It means that we are here in this field. We have a vibe that vibes with this. It makes sense that we are born feminine. Slowly but surely we grow. We enter this realm, both sexually and with education and work and so on. We enter this realm. So when you vibe in here, this is what you get. This is when you are attracted to someone, this is what you get. You are in this area. If you don't want this, if you don't want this, this is where the ego meets another ego. You get attracted to each other. You may have the greatest sex ever. It's hot and feisty. It's exciting, but it's not connected. It cannot. It's actually a bit like your rivals here. And some have to give. One becomes the leader and one becomes a follower in a relationship. Here. Over here it's not like that. Here you don't have drama queens or drama kings. Here you cannot be attracted, like you cannot find connection with someone like this. It's a mismatch. It doesn't work. Here the connection is based in the heart, not in the sexual area, the lower. This is root chakra and sacral chakra. This is heart chakra. Here you have connection that that is friend oriented. You could say it's kind, it's caring, it's friendly, it's empathic, because the way that it connects means that one will know if the other is not all right. One will instantly, telepathically, empathically know if the other is uncomfortable with what's going on. It's implied, it's exchanged, it's hard exchanged. There is no such thing as ego. There's no such things as lies or making things up, or like it's psychically intertwined with each other. There is no such thing. When I incarnated here, I had no idea. I started my life from this place. For some reason, I didn't quite switch over here. I still managed to have this active. So this is how I tried to have relation with others. I didn't get that. I find people over here. I got connected with them. It never really worked. I didn't know why. Now I know why. Because for some reason I still operate over here. Most people are here, like in adolescent, adult life, they are here. So I can't really connect with them. Well, I can, but it will never make me happy. Okay, let's have a look at the cards. But you get my point? It's like you will either see, that's what I feel like this new moon is. It's a new moon of contrast, I feel like. Hard, or again, it's almost, I get like the 70s feeling. Make love, not war. You know, like it's something like becoming aware, I think, about what governs your life. Having a self, like having a self is a very alluring feeling. It means that the one I talked about that was left behind has no say. They are buried. There's only one in charge here. You see, over here it's like people are alone. Over here you're never alone. Like you are never only one over here. You're never only one. Over here you're always just one. The self, the ego, the one that has taken charge and buried the other one, so they are in charge. They cannot hear the other voice, or if they hear it, they just suppress it. So over here, you have to have a leader. That's how this world works. That's how society works. You have to be able to make a decision, and you have to be making it quick and act on it. If you are two, it's slower, right? Because they have to adjust with each other. It's a slower world. It has to be. But it doesn't matter. Do you get my point? Like it's... Now I know, in my 50s, I've realized the reason why this world has always been very difficult for me to be in. I felt mostly like an alien most of my life. It's like I don't belong here. And now I know why, right? It's like, it's because of my hearth fire, right? A hearth fire I cannot give up. You could say, becoming masculine, leaving this other part of myself behind, I cannot do. It's wrong. I feel like that, yeah, I said it before, contrast, right? This new moon can show for all of you in different ways. You have Taurus in different placements. How this is a problem, or how it's like you get to see, I want to say, who you are. You get to know if you are over here or here. You get to know if you are this one or this one. Or you get to know that you are here and your partner is here. What they are requesting, what they are wanting, what they are looking for is not what you can give them, or vice versa, right? Something like that. And therefore you have to cleanse, right? Therefore you have to get certain things out of your life. You move, you quit your job, or whatever. New beginning, new earth, maybe. As I said, we are born in a feminine state. We have to be receptive, receiving help from the parents, caretakers. That's how we survive. That's how we learn. We look at them, we copy them, we learn from them. We learn from what is already here, but what is already here is in here. So we are coming from this place, taking the help, and slowly and surely we learn to get over here, operate over here. I believe that infants that die, it's because the soul is rejecting this. It rejects to go over here. The soul says no. So they leave again. The soul cannot make this shift, won't make this shift. But the point of this is that to be the only one in charge is exhilarating. It's very alluring. That's what power is, right? It gives us a feeling of high, being high. It's addictive. So I believe that some of the souls that come here, that make this change, it's because they want to know what this feels like. They want to have this experience. The problem with this is that we tend to make karma here, and we tend to be addicted. So we want to come back and do it again and again and again. We get stuck here. We never get back, really. Anyway. Okay, let's have a look at the cards, what they're saying here. Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is usually a card of putting in the seeds to harvest later, right? You put in seeds to this could also talk about, it is Pentacle card, so I feel like it could be tangible. But putting in seeds can be investment. It's like you invest in something to hope to see a later result, right? Eight of Pentacles is usually now you get the result, now you have the, now you see something happening, right? It's earthy. Pentacles is an earth element. This fits with Taurus, also an earth sign. I feel like if you want a change, if you have realized something here in your life, you want a change, you have to put in seeds. Like you have to sow or make steps towards something new. If you want something new, right? It's a good time to put in seeds. If you, as I said, cleanse and put in new seeds, right? Again, this is potentially, this can be her garden, right? It's like there is a fence here. There's also, it seems like, an open space here. Tend to your garden, I want to say. Tend to your garden. Put in new seeds. It is springtime, so this can also be what it talks about. Sow the things you want to harvest later, right? I want to say with this, I feel like also, even though it's not quite tangible, there could be a sense of dreaming here, or imagination, or you may feel inspired by something, and having that in mind while you sow, while you put in seeds, while you apply for the new job, while you are looking for a new house or a new home or something, while you are having something in mind that is the inspiration, is the wish, is the hope, is the dream. And then you make steps. Again, new beginnings come with first steps. It's never perfect. First step is never perfect, right? It starts with a little thing. It starts with steps, and hoping that it will eventually pay out in some way, eventually pay out. I get a feeling of the way she's dressed. It's almost like looking at a picture from maybe 100 years ago. Like how she's dressed, the basket, like old ways of living. Now I get something like wanting, like this could be the competitive cooperative world, business world, and this is more of a countryside, tiny house, living minimalistic, something like back to the roots. I want to, grow my own crop. I don't want to buy the corporate world groceries anymore. I want something organic. I want the life of in the countryside. I want to listen to the birds. Maybe it was hard work, hard physical work, but I want to feel the sun. I want to smell a real apple hanging on the tree. I want to smell the sweetness, right? I want to smell the flowers. I want to see the animals around me. I want to be connected with something organic, something earth. Again, earth. I get earth. Something, the living life of earth. I want to be connected with the living life of earth, not the skyscrapers, not the concrete buildings, not the polluted big cities. I get something like that here. And putting in seeds to get there, right? Putting in seeds to build that tiny house, or to have this slow living, organic, slow living. Maybe you want to move in, like one of those, maybe more rural areas where people are concerned about building houses that are climate, that are CO2 neutral, things like that. Something like anti-pollution, back to the old ways. And now I have this make love, not war, to the planet, right? Make love, not war, to the planet. Don't forget the hearth fire, right? Don't forget where we come from. Don't forget we are in human form. The human body has gone through an enormous amount of evolution. Something has lived and birthed new life, and lived and birthed new life, and lived and birthed new life, again and again and again, for you to be here. And don't forget that, right? Don't forget the body you are in. Don't forget the needs that it has. Don't forget the evolution that has been. Don't reject it, right? Don't reject the origin or the hearth fire, that someone lived like this for you today to live in luxury, perhaps, right? Or someone lived like this. I get almost something like honoring the past, or honoring earth. Make love, not war, to the planet, I feel like. And when I say planet, it could be also your body. It's this saying like our body is our temple, something like that. This returning to a more clean life, a cleaner, simpler life, maybe something like that, and putting in the seeds towards it, if that's what you want. Again, this is a general reading. Don't make it fit. If you feel you belong over here and you want to stay here, you do that, right? Then this reading is not for you, right? This is probably for those who are more interested in a different kind of life. A life where they are more in tune with everything around them, nature, in tune with themselves even, in tune with their bodies. Yeah, that's what I feel like. Thinking of you. So it's like this is the sun, right? And I feel hearth fire with this. Like there's something in you that keeps you alive, right? There's a flame that keeps you alive. Thinking of you is like this reminder that something is actually burning in you. We all have what we call solar plexus, personal power. We have like it's like a hearth fire that keeps us alive, right here, that keeps moving. We would say that it's a heart pumping, right? But I think that there's more to it. It's like like an origin, a drive, a force in us that keeps us moving somehow. Thinking of you, right? It's almost like a call, a loving thought, serendipity. Something calls you back, maybe. Something calls you back. This could even be like a memory, a past memory, something you did once that made you feel serendipity, that made you feel connected or happy. Something that is the hearth fire, where you feel happy or safe or contained, maybe, contained, where you felt abundant, where you felt that you were connected or in tune. A place maybe, where you felt such connection, maybe. Where you felt loved, that you were loved and wanted and appreciated, and where there were no fight. Something that feels like friend zone, that feels kind. Could be something you've done, like an old hobby or something. Something you were invested in. Something you liked to do. Maybe it was in the countryside. Maybe it's a place. Maybe a place. Maybe it's a person. Maybe this one is a grandmother, right? And every time you were with her, every time you visited their farm or something, you felt like this, right? You felt so loved and contained and so held, so protected maybe, so safe, so relaxed that you could be you could just be, There were no requirements, you could just be you, right? And then I have earth here, right? Very appropriate with earth, earth reading. That earth is the mother, right? Earth is where we come from, everything in us. Our bodies is from this place. It's almost like she could be calling us, right? That she's calling us to remember something, right? Remember where you come from. Remember me, right? Remember me. Remember your mother, maybe. Remember the womb, right? Remember what I give you, right? That earth is without, let's say we had another ice age. That earth was not providing the things that it does for us. In the corporative busy world, there's no time to think about like nature, right? There's no time to think about where we came from. There's no time to, it's way too fast, way too mechanical, and very competitive. It's very absorbed about power here. Or if not power, then drama, or the next new fashion, or the next new something. It's very quick. It's never satisfied. It has to do new. It can't relax over here. It can't relax. There's no relaxation. It's difficult to relax here because there's always something that wants to keep you moving over here. A place where you can't find relaxation, a place where you can't find peace is here. It's here in nature. Like I can't make this up, right? It's like yeah, I get slow living, getting back to nature, breathing again. Actually breathing, right? Not holding your breath. Over here, people are so stressed, they sometimes hold their breath. Here you breathe, right? You don't, I now I get something like, in the fancy, sexy world, women, they hold in their stomach to look slimmer, right? Here you don't do that. You relax your body. Your tummy is out, right? You're not pretending. You're not in this role play. You're not engaging in the. It is stressful. It demands you to look in a certain way, move in a certain way. It's like the male gaze. This is actually a thing. You can look it up, the male gaze. The male gaze makes the feminine very conscious about themselves, but actually they don't want to be. They don't want to be self-conscious. They want to be free of their self-consciousness. They want to be tummy out. They want to be relaxed. They want to be able to breathe. They want to slow down, have a different pace. They want to be connected with nature and animals and flowers and nature powers, nature medicine maybe, the trees. It's a calling, like an inner calling. It's something like And maybe women feel that, or feminines feel it, even feminine men, right, would feel it, that there's this call back to something earthy, back to the grass, walking barefoot, and grounding yourself. If you have been, someone in the spiritual realm working with, mediums, or you have been working with a messenger from the universe, you could be called back to work with earth creatures like fairies, the more earthy divinities, earth deities. But it's more like the magical realm of close earth. Like you're not soaring high up in the sky trying to connect with other galaxies. No, you are drawn back down to her, I feel like. That she's calling us down, back down. It's like she's, like calling us home. I feel it's like to remember her, right? It's like we're supposed to connect with her again. We have become too disconnected. It's a bit like the situation where the children have left home, right? They have moved out, and they never call, right? They never call the mother. They have forgotten all about her, it seems like. They may even not like her. Maybe they find her old-fashioned or stuck in her ways, or, they are into this new stuff. They're into the new science. The children have left. They are now in here. They are absorbed in this world now. And she feels like they have forgotten how to play, right? They have forgotten how to relax. She can watch her very busy children totally absorbed in the world here. But they don't have time to come home and visit her, right? They don't have time. They're always busy. They get their own family. Children with families with children in this world. It's very stressful. It's constantly demanding. And she's watching here, or like a grandmother, she's watching. Why are you not coming to the countryside to relax? Why are you not coming home? You need to come and relax. You have forgotten to play, right? You have forgotten to relax. You have even forgotten to breathe. You have forgotten about yourself. You have forgotten how you were when you were a child, right? You have forgotten. It has absorbed you now, right? It's like she is telling us that we can lose ourselves in here. We can lose ourselves. There is another way of life, right? She's saying. personally though, I believe that this kind of life, the society we have now, it's like I see it a bit like egotistic. If the ego is taking over, it has a lifespan. It's like sometimes the mother has to let the son go and just do his thing, no matter how crazy it is, no matter how she can look at it. She can watch him do all this stuff from an ego, do all this ego stuff. And she just has to let him do it. She even has to let him become self-destructive. She has to see him fall. For him, she has to see him hit rock bottom. Because it's only when he hits rock bottom that he may remember this. He may even be looking for it. He may even be asking for help. Sometimes when people are absorbed in the ego, they can't stop themselves. They don't want to. They are in charge. It's exhilarating to be the one in charge, even if they're hurting. They want to maintain. The ego doesn't give up the fight. It wants to maintain itself, even if it's self-destructive. Even if it numbs itself every day. Even if it has addictions, it wants to stay in charge. It doesn't give up the fight. It has to reach a rock bottom before it awakens. And all she can do is wait. All she can do is wait for the madness to stop. It can be like it's like a high. That when people become absorbed by the ego, it's a high. Like it's so demanding. It's loud. It overtakes everything, and you just have to go with it. But it has a time. It's like it has power until it has no power anymore. When you have, as I said, the flame is small in the beginning. Here it's fun. Here it's alluring. It draws you in. You find it exciting. You're still in control. But then it calls for more. It calls for more risks. It calls for more. It even calls for more attention. You have to put in more work. It can become it's a highly addictive, and it's asking more and more and more of you. And you have to put in more and more work to be part of it, to get the high, to be satisfied, to find new exhilarating ways, to find new excitement. It calls for more and more and more. it becomes more and more experimental. It becomes more and more risky, maybe. So it starts as alluring and fun and wow, but then it takes more to get a wow. It takes more to get the feeling. It gets more to be satisfied, or to get the next high, and to get the next one, and the next one, and the next one. It doesn't last long. Over here you don't have highs, but you have something else. It's never as high as over here. It's never as alluring. It's not supposed to be. But it's more even. It's a more even contentment. There are no ups and downs like that. It's more even. And it's never that high, never. It's a bit like what you are asking an alcoholic, how to live their life after being sober. After being sober, any addiction, someone who gets sober after an addiction knows that it's a balancing act. There is so little that can push them over to the other side again. So what they need to do is actually live a more basic life, a more basic, calmer life, and stick to it, because otherwise they get right back into this, which they eventually cannot control. I have that feeling, right? I have this feeling of like maybe a rock bottom for someone. And this new moon is like becoming sober, or something like that, putting in seeds to becoming sober, maybe, or to seeing what you are part of when you are in this. And again, I'm not saying it's wrong. It depends on your hearth fire. If you are feminine at your hearth fire, you are struggling here. It's damaging you. If you are masculine at your hearth fire, you will like it here. And you probably hated being the child that couldn't do the same as everyone else. You wanted to be able to compete with them. Right? You didn't want to settle. You wanted to be able to compete. You didn't like it. You wanted to be in control. You wanted to take charge. You wanted them to follow your lead. Right? Then you will probably fit in this world. Again, it depends on your hearth fire, right? But if you are feminine at your hearth fire, you're probably constantly stressed here. Because this world favors people who do on their own. Feminines do not like the idea of doing on their own. They want to be connected with something. They are looking for the partner. They're looking to be married. They are looking for this other whom they have an exchange with. And in the world of self, there is no such thing. You have even shut down your own connection to that self, to this other, in yourself. We are called back to earth. We are called back to nature. We are called back into our bodies. We are called back to ground ourselves, to listen to the body, to listen to the warnings or whatever the body is telling you, that you're not in the right environment, you're not safe, you're not in you are in tension, you're not in a friend zone. The friend zone is where you relax. Like, this is where you relax. You put on your pajama. You sit and watch telly together. Your tummy is out. You relax. There's no danger. You are in a friend zone. When you are on a hot date with someone, you dress up. You need to look right. You want to present the best. You have to be on, right? It's not a, and it's a flirting, right? It's this dance, right? To figure out who is in charge here, who is going to devour who, right? That there's this tension, right? It's actually not a relaxed place. It's the other. It's the potential of an encounter that can give you a certain high in the brain. That's what this is. It's a chemical thing. Like atoms that, like unite. In the universe, we are atoms. We are aware, right? Let's say you are at a party with a lot of friends. It's a relaxed place. You can relax, you can be yourself, you can laugh and be silly and goofy and everything. And suddenly this person enters the room and there's something about them, right? Suddenly you straighten your back. Suddenly you become more alert. Suddenly you're looking at them, you're watching them, right? Maybe they are coming towards you. Maybe they find you attractive. Maybe they feel the tension. They have heard you, right? They can hear you. You get eye contact, and suddenly you just know this is something else. This is not a relaxed tummy out, pajamas on situation. Here I have to be on. I have to be alert. I am, something is stirring in me, right? The fire in me is stirring. I'm aware that there's something alluring, but at the same time, I'm watching them, right? I'm trying to figure them out. And this can end up becoming a flirtation. It can end up becoming an attraction. And it can end up in sex. That's how it works. But again, it's like, because we are attracted to them doesn't mean that they are going to be safe partners for the rest of our lives. This is where I think many go wrong. Like, they believe that attraction must mean that this person is my soulmate. This person is right for me. It takes a lot of communication to make this right. Because no, you feel tension. Tension is not relaxation. Tension is the opposite. The more tension, the more opposite. The more tension, the more potential power play. But some people want to get into power plays. Actually, they want to feel that they submit themselves. Like they get off by the idea of being led. They want to submit themselves because they are looking for the leader, right? They're looking for the container. But then what are you submitting yourself to exactly? Do you know that? Always? Can you be sure that the one you are submitting yourself to is a kind container that wants your best? Or do they just want the best for themselves when they get the power? Do you get my point? It's like I get it. It's alluring. I get it. It's sexy. It's hot. The sex can be amazing. It gives you the high, definitely. But it doesn't mean that they are going to be a stable, safe partner to be with. The ones in the friend zone are usually more stable partners because if they are in friend zone, they have chosen you. Like they have chosen to be with you, to stay your friend. They like you. They like being around you. They like your company. You may have more in common with a friend person than you have with the hot, sexy guy or girl. Opposites attract through the tension, yes, but that's what it is. They are your opposite, not the same as you. They are your opposite. The friend zone people are more the same as you. Something in them is same as you. If not gender, if not looks, then maybe interests, maybe values, maybe I don't know, income levels, maybe trauma, that you share a trauma that is alike, So you find companionship through recognition that we share some of the same pain. We share some of the same joy. We share some of the same values. That's friend zone. This is where you can relax. You know that they like you. You know that they have chosen you. In the other situation, you're not sure. Not the new encounter. The guy walking into the room, right? And instantly you just feel you're straightening your back, right? You look different. You take a different pose. You may be watching them, they may be watching you, right? It's different. It's like looking at an opponent, wondering what their next move might be. The more tension, the more opposite. I just feel like there's something about our bodies, there's something about Earth, there's something about maybe minimalistic life, slow living. Returning to nature, organic food, And again, I feel like I'm reading for someone or for those of you who belong to the feminine hearth fire, right? Like origin in you is feminine. This can be a person, like a grandmother or something that you now I get something. It could even be like a remembrance of an earlier life where you lived like this, something like that. You lived like that, and it was a very balanced life, I think. It doesn't look like much, it looks simple, but it was balanced, It felt right. It was simple, it was pure or clean, it was again, maybe it was a rougher life, your body was like you had to use your body a lot to work with. Your hands were but it felt more real, or it was still more balanced, maybe slower. This world is full of information. Like information is constantly flowing through the air here. It can be, things like entertainment, YouTube. It can be that kind of information. It can be also be what we call business information. It's trade related. It has maybe an academic level. It has an intelligence or something to it. Where here this is simple. Like this is not. She could be like a farmer, right? She could be a farmer's girl. She has no education necessarily, right? She is from the land. She's it could even be, before education. Like life was better before education, before school, before or when we could have a life without all of this, right? A life without all of this is a more harmonious life. And again, there's something about the cycle. Like she could be feeding the cows produce milk, she gets the milk, There's something about the exchange between like the fruit from the there's something about the organic cycle of life that we have forgotten in the self-indulging identity run, like the building of our ego, the indulgence in the ego. We have lost something. We have lost a connection to what feeds us and what has always been feeding us and our ancestors. Even respect, I feel like we have lost the respect of It's parasitic. It's like we have lost the respect of the navel cord, right? What feeds us. And we are just living this parasitic life here, like we're living we're just assuming that it comes. We're assuming it's there. We're assuming that we have access to the water, to the crops, the food, right? That's why I wanted to say earlier something like, what if an ice age was approaching? When an ice age is approaching and we feel the cold, all of this doesn't matter. Then we will be realizing that all that is going on over here doesn't matter. It's somewhat artificial. Everything that has been built in this area, like society and everything, it doesn't matter. If Earth decides to freeze over, it doesn't matter. We will not live. Society and all the rules and regulations and all this stuff will not live. When your body is not working as we expect it to, we realize that we are dependent on the body, right? We cannot do anything without the body not following our instructions. If the body starts not to follow instructions, whatever you want doesn't matter. Whatever you want with your brain doesn't matter. It's a corporation, right? That there's something about the corporation that needs to be understood. That if you feed yourself crap food, if you drink and smoke and all this stuff, how do you expect your body to be healthy the next day? To be all right and keep going like that? Of course it will fall apart eventually. If you're not taking care of it, if you're not giving yourself, your body, what you need, make sure you have rest, make sure you have sleep, make sure you read, you eat decently, you know? If you're not doing that, how do you expect it to be taken care of? Maybe even it has to do with the pace. Maybe you need to slow down. Maybe you literally need to work, move, walk slower. Because it's killing you. Like the fast movement over here is killing you. It gives you anxiety, high blood pressure, and so on. You know, you become ill there. Then you need to take steps, at least if you want to stay here. Right? If you want to keep yourself alive, you have to make steps. You have to put in steps here, or seeds, to a different life. Nobody else is doing it for you. You have to speak your truth to yourself and actually do something about it. walk away from things that are not right for you, even if you have no plan, right? If it's wrong for you. It's like you wouldn't stay in a toxic room if you know there was a gas leak. You would get out, right? It's the same thing. If you know you are in a toxic place that's killing you, there is no oxygen, get out. That's what the body is telling you. This is not healthy. And the body is, you could say, your limit. Your body is your limit. It means that the body can only survive in a certain amount of toxicity. We know even if you climb a mountain and the air or the oxygen content in the air becomes lower and lower and lower, you will know that eventually if I keep climbing this mountain, there will be no oxygen. I will be unconscious and fall and never wake up. So the limit is to figure out what is the boundary? Where is the boundary between enough oxygen and not enough oxygen, right? Where is the boundary? And you must also know that when you get to the boundary, there is no more moving. When you get to the boundary, you go back. Because as soon as you cross it, there is no oxygen. Then you need an oxygen tank with you, like when a space rocket is entering into space. There is no oxygen there. There's no life force for us. It's toxic for us. There are areas where I think feminine energy it's toxic. Like even to the point where feminines are molding their bodies, they're molding their brains to think like a man. You have to when you are here. You have to think like a man to be able to move here, do on your own and so on. Fight the fights and all this stuff. You have to think like a man. So when women are in this space, we're not thinking like women. It's like we are hybrids. We have feminine bodies, but we think like men. We know the games. We know how to deceive. We have learned all of this stuff from the masculine realm. We have learned all of it to be able to navigate here alone, because that's what society dictates. You have to do this alone. You can find a partner, you can get married, but you are on your own. It's your own career, it's your own name, it's your own title, it's your own role, it's on your own. If your hearth fire is feminine, I guess you're struggling here. It's not your realm. You won't be happy there. Actually, you have to get out. So how do you get out of, let's say, society? If it's not right for you, it's actually hurting you, killing you. pressuring you to your breaking point. Yeah, you're definitely needing to seize a place, a time maybe. Like as I said, if this is a memory, right, that you have a memory of a past life, you have a memory of maybe this is when you were visiting your grandmother as a child. You know, there's a time, you know, that you need to connect with. Maybe a person, maybe a place. You need to connect with it because it is friendly, right? It's healing. It's kind. It allowed you to be who you are. It's caring. It's organic. You can breathe here. You can be yourself. You can you know. You could even call it a zen zone. You know, maybe this is a little place you have in the countryside where you can go in the weekends and you just live very, maybe primitive. Maybe this is camping, right? Maybe this is, just like a tent and nothing much else. Maybe this is going fishing, you know. Very, very primitive, very just you and nature, just you and the wind, just you and the sea, just you and the forest, just you and the cows, just you and I don't know, whatever, something like that. We have to kind of connect with, like your body is the limit, as I said. It's like, don't make love, not war to the planet. Make love, not war to your body, right? There is a limit to its, a stress limit, or as, there's a limit to the rat race, right? There's a limit to a pressure of some kind. And you need to say no, like to protect you, to protect yourself, even if your mind is saying, because remember, your mind is trained to think like a man. Even if your mind is saying, yeah, but I can't do that. I have to work. I have to get the money. I have to pay the bills. I have to this and that and this and that. Your body is saying, no, 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 I can't do this, it says. If you stay, you will break down. This is taking steps to save yourself, you could say, to save or to be your own rescuer. This is to build the right containment for yourself. Put yourself in the right environment. Choose it. Deliberately choosing this simple, maybe boring life. Because you know this is going to kill me, you know? Sometimes people, if they have been in, we have seen it with, let's say, very famous singers, right? It starts out as beautiful. They are young, new potential. They have beautiful voices. They sing like a Whitney Houston, you know. Young, fresh. They love to sing. They are doing what they are loving. And you can see it like on the stage Everybody gets fascinated by them. They become idols. Suddenly, then something changes, right? Suddenly there are stylists that wants them to wear certain clothes. Suddenly there's this heavy spotlight on them. Suddenly they are on a big stage with like massive band audio around them, and loudspeakers, right? You know, suddenly there is this massive fans in front of them. Suddenly they see themselves, they go in photo shoots. Suddenly an entire image is created around them. They are not just themselves anymore singing a song. No, now this becomes work. Now they have to do this every day in the studio. They do it over and over. They can't just sing the song and be happy. Something changes when you take a little lure, something that is exciting, something that is fun, something you just love to do. You just love to sing. You just love to be in that experience. And you now make it a business. What sometimes happens is that they are lured into all of this fan business, like how loved they are by the audience, right? That so many people show up and they earn a lot of money. They get a different lifestyle. They get themselves attuned to a certain kind of life. They go on tour. They live on the road, in the bus, right? But what normally happens, or often happens, is the downfall, right? They start using something. They start using pills. They are becoming utterly more and more self-conscious about their appearance, their looks, their aging, or whatever. They are always on diet. They are always supposed to look in a certain way, present in a certain way, have this certain glow. They start using drugs or alcohol or pills. It becomes more and more difficult to go on stage. It becomes more and more difficult to perform, to get the same experience. Like the performance is now a job. It's not a hobby. It's not something they're doing because it was fun or because it was a thrill or something they just love to do. No, now it has become work. It has become tough work, and they are judged all the time by producers and stylists and hairdressers and whatever, and the audience, of course, the fan group, social media content and comments. They are constantly judged for what they're doing. This now becomes a pressure, and they can't sustain themselves there. Now they have to numb. Now they have to cope in it. It's no longer a safe, good environment. They have to perform now. They fall. That is the problem with those who rise fast. They fall also, right? The quick rise is very alluring, very exhilarating, very addictive. The point is to stop in the right time, right? The point is to stop. When you are at the top of your career, you should stop. You should stop because it becomes more and more difficult to be in that environment. It starts like this, fun. It is something you love to do. You are connected with yourself. You are embracing just this beautiful song. You end here. And you can't get this feeling back unless you take the steps out of the busy, very seductive life into basic life. Rock bottom, we have seen it many times, right? Rock bottom is when all of this pressure, spotlight, highlight, the pace, the quickness, the speed, the judgment, the control, everything takes the shining new talent away. It kills it. Like the feminine creative talent is killed in here under so much pressure. We've seen it so many times. Even, well, it's well known that many of the artists, they're actually starting to say no, but they are pushed to do the next album, right? They're pushed to do the next film. They're pushed to smile, right? You could take an icon like Marilyn Monroe, right? She smiled to the camera, right? But underneath it all, she was a highly depressed woman. It also tells us something about us, right? The people, that we can get so highly and easily seduced by something. Marilyn Monroe seduced not only men but also women. But she was lying. It was fake. It was an ego. Underneath it all, she felt terrible. Underneath it, again, in the beginning maybe, she was happy about the attention. But it ended out becoming such pressure. She couldn't be in it. Rock bottom, we know it with addictions, right? Rock bottom can either be death or a cry for help, right? And one of the things you may need to do is to remove yourself from. The point is that your body has long told you. It has told you many, many times. Many times. Maybe even from childhood told you that you were not safe. That this is not the right place for you. It has told you. But we were asked to ignore it, right? We were asked to go here and participate in this. Even though something inside us may have told us from we were a very young person, have told us that this is not safe, this is not right, this is not good. We have felt tension, we have felt and still we were supposed to feel all right in it. Still we were supposed to be able to relax in it. Still we were supposed to be happy. But we are not happy. This is what you need to do then, right? You need to make the steps even though people may not like it. You know, she has this headdress on. I get almost a feeling of, I wouldn't say hiding, but you could see this could be like a famous person who is wearing this headdress so people can see who they are. And then they go and live in the countryside. It's a bit like, what is that called, that movie? The Princess in Paris or something, right? That the princess is visiting a city where nobody, like, she's not from that country. She's a princess in another country, right? And she's going to this city to have an experience as an ordinary person. She would like to be ordinary, that nobody would recognize her, nobody would, put the camera in her face, that she can just be herself, right? That she can be spontaneous, or that she can be herself without any kind of judgment or camera in the face, right? Like that. And without any comment. It's a bit like, what is that called? Notting Hill. That Julia Roberts is playing, being a famous actor. And she knocks on the door, on the blue door, where Hugh Grant is giving her a sense of sanctuary, right? He's giving her a sense of sanctuary. She can be more of herself there. He allows her to just be her, right? To be a girl. To just be a girl. He invites her to the family, and well, first they are a bit stunned by her fameness, but then it's like they are relaxing and just treating her like a normal person. They are allowing her just to be a person, right? It's like you're supposed to allow yourself to just be you. To find places, or to find places that can act like a sanctuary. To find people that can act like friend zone or sanctuary, who allows you to just be you. Put in the seeds to find places like this. Look for them, right? Do boring stuff, I want to say. Slow down. Become boring. Become uninteresting to other people. Take time for yourself. She's alone here, right? I don't know. It's something like that. When we take time for ourselves, it's like the possibility of reconnecting with your body and actually listening to it and what it has to say is there. And when you hear it, it will tell you where you will be all right. It will tell you where you will be fine. It will tell you what it needs to be okay. It's like re-establishing this connection that was there in the first place. And it's a place of bliss. It's a place of connection. When your body and brain is connected, and you trust each other, when they trust each other and choose each other, it is a very special reunion. And then I want to say, if that is the case, this will no longer be appealing. It will no longer be appealing. But I feel like it is a new moon, maybe asking us to ground ourselves more in the body. You ground through the body. I said walking barefoot, so it's your feet belonging to your body, right? It's the feet that touch the grass. Walking barefoot in the sand, put your feet in the water, right? It's through your body, you ground through the body. Everything is felt, tasted, understood through the body. The body is part of everything. If you put yourself in a mentally toxic environment, your body is there as well. Nothing your brain does exclude the body, unless you are unconscious or sedated or something. Otherwise, the body is experiencing this as well. It is a companion. It's always there. Awake or asleep, it's always there. With you, with your brain, with the thinking brain that normally makes the decisions over here. It's a cooperation, it's a collaboration. And happiness is a collaboration as well. You can not only be happy here and not here. Then you will have a dissonance. There will be a stress felt in your body. If you can find a collaboration between here and here, and find the right place, find the right work, find the right people or whatever, find the right country or culture or something, you will be happy. You will find that happiness. But many of us are ignoring our bodies. We are taking it utterly for granted, expecting it just to follow along, no matter how stressful our life is, no matter how bad we eat, no matter how much we are numbing it, no matter how badly we are treating it. Ignoring sleep and whatever, no matter, we're not giving it the opportunity to be healthy. We're expecting it to. And when it falls apart later on in life, we don't understand. We don't get it. We want to fix it as quickly as possible. I have done this. I fell down. I didn't understand. I wanted to fix it as quickly as possible. I wasn't listening. But I'm telling you, she has the power. She has the power. Always, always, always. If she is refusing to be fixed, there is no other way than climbing out of this experience, dissolving the ego, moving more and more back It's the only way. There's no other way. She has the power. Your body has the power, always. I know there are gurus out there that are telling you that your thoughts create everything. Yeah, they can. If you're telling your body that ice cold water is safe, I guess that you can do it for a while, I think. You can do it for years. But I'm pretty sure eventually your body will tell you. Again, depending on, are you a feminine earth fire or are you a masculine earth fire? If you're a masculine earth fire, I think that perhaps you can stay longer with the ice water. A feminine earth fire, I'm not so sure. Feminine earth fire, it's well known that feminines are looking for some kind of, you could say, containment, something that holds them, something that keeps them, a keeper. Feminine energy is looking for a keeper. And when I say keeper, I mean keeping them safe. Right? Something that keeps them safe. If the mind is reckless, I'm not sure the body feels that safe. I think it will go along. It has to go along, of course. If someone is an adrenaline junkie, I think that it will go until a certain point. Especially if you are a feminine earth fire. I don't think many people who are feminine earth fire, they don't become adrenaline junkies. I don't think so. It's just not in their nature. Of course they can find excitement. Of course they can find a certain, but adrenaline junkie, I don't think so. It's over here. A masculine earth fire probably will do that. Feminine, I don't think so. It's too draining. It drains. And again, the adrenaline, you have to add more and more risk to what you're doing. As an adrenaline junkie, it's an addiction or addiction-like. You have to add more and more risk. And this is where I feel like the body will, for feminine earth fire, the body is the limit. Like the body needs a certain sense of feeling kept. So what you're doing with your brain, if you're making decisions from a masculine viewpoint, the body can go along for a certain amount of time, but eventually it will collapse because it's not built for this pressure. I think you can push it. You can do it for years. You can do it for decades, maybe. But eventually, when people have a breakdown in their 50s, 60s, maybe earlier, a heart attack or something, it's the body. The body saying no, no. Autoimmune disease. The body saying no, 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 something is wrong, right? So, with the very first earth sign, Taurus, and a new moon, I think there is a sense of contrast. It could even be something like someone may be realizing what they have done to themselves. Realizing that that I'm thinking of my body here. I'm now thinking of my body, and because I'm thinking of my body, I'm changing my life. I put in new seeds to have this connection, to have this ongoing exchange between my body, between my mind, and I put in new seeds. I make a vow. I decide to want to have this connection more. And because of that, I must listen, right? I must listen. Your body is not your enemy. Like, it literally isn't. It's not your enemy. Our earth is not the enemy. But again, remember, if we are in a self world that only exists of selves, eyes, self, this is where it's from this standpoint we think. The human population thinks from an I perspective. Everything evolves around the I. Everything we do is about the I. It's about the human existence. When we are looking for external life in space, we are looking for something that is kind of similar to us, because we always look from the I. So when we look for life, we look for something that is in physical form like us. It has an organism like us. And maybe more, maybe it has developed, maybe it has evolved. But we're looking for an organism, like minimum, looking for an organism, some kind of cell that moves, right? It has to be in a physical form. Otherwise, we don't consider it life. Because it's always from the I. It's never from a broader perspective. It's always from, it has to be something we can recognize. That's how self-absorbed we are. We are in a very I call it a self-world. Like the Western world, most of the globe is in a self-world. It's a self-world. There's only us and me. There's only me And then you have a me, and the other person has a me, and an I, right? And these I's are interacting with each other. The egos are interacting with each other. Sometimes the body are interacting with each other. I feel this new moon is like well, for some it can be a wake-up call. For some it will be a rock bottom. I feel contrast. For some it will be, I need to change something drastically, right? I need to change something. And when I put in these new seeds, I have to stick with them. I have to really choose this. I think then when a woman says, let's say a feminine woman, let's just use that word, a mother kind of woman, a motherly woman-like person, when she says no, she has already stretched herself. When she says no, it's because there is no more stretching. When she leaves a marriage or when she leaves a situation, she has already stretched herself to her limit. When she says no, packs her bag and leaves, she will be very sad, but she's leaving because she knows that this other needs to do their stuff and I can't be part of it. It's like, as I said, it's like the ego has a lifespan. It's like it needs to go through different things to get to the rock bottom. To realize how selfish it has been, how badly it has been treating someone else, how much it has neglected. Sometimes it's the body that says no, right? As I said, when the feminine is leaving, when she says goodbye and leaves, or we can translate this as if you have a breakdown. If you have a bodily breakdown, the body is signaling that something is very, very wrong. I can't participate in this anymore. The ego identity usually doesn't want to accept it. We want to run from it. We want to fix it. We want to get back in the saddle. We want to get our life back. If the body persists and says no, there is no other way than to climb down from the horse, dismantle the ego, dismantle it, and come back and meet her halfway. She has to feel that we want to meet her halfway, that we want to come back. We have understood that she has the power. Always. Always. This goes for men and women, but I think that we talk about what I talk about here, and the downfall, the breakdown of the body and so on. This has to do with feminine men, or men who have somewhat of a feminine hearth fire. Like they have been taught to be masculine. All of us have. But those who are struggling the most in this world here are those who carry the feminine hearth fire. And they have to start saying no. They have to start doing differently. They have to build a different life for themselves. They have to maybe help each other, do differently. Otherwise, they will die. They will not survive. I feel a contrast, like a new moon of contrast. It's like it's either or. If you choose one direction, you are on a collision course, right? And the point is that you know it. You already know it. It's time, right? It's like it's time to initiate a different conversation here. Never cut the hand that feeds you, right? Never cut off the hand that feeds you, or bite off the hand that feeds you. We could talk about Earth also, like the globe, and everything that the globe provides. All of our egotistical ideas have no meaning if there is no food. If the species can survive. If the globe was dying, or as I said, initiated an ice age, it doesn't matter what thoughts we have. When I say when the globe initiates an ice age, this is where I feel like when you can feel that something is wrong, that you have that something could be wrong in your body. You find a lump somewhere, or you just know you have to go to the doctors, right? Get your blood work done, and maybe you get a message you don't like. This is it. This is where we have to settle differently. We have to build a new life, new routines, new, I don't know, we have to accept that we are in a collaboration. Always have been, always will be, as long as you are in a body, physical body. Maybe you don't know what your body wants, right? Maybe you don't, when you're not sure. You try everything. You know, supplements, you try diets, you try meditation or whatever, you tried yoga, you tried, and it just seems like it's not working, or you're not getting fixed. It's not fixing anything. So maybe your body is here now to fix you, right? To fix your brain. It's like it's calling you home, right? It's asking you to recognize who you truly are, what you are, and stand by it. Women are not supposed to be men. We're not supposed to think like men. But I want to ask you, what would society be if women were not participating? If women were not working? If women were not just even educated? If women were receivers, not producers or givers? What would society look like if women were not participating? If women were not thinking like men, participating like men, being raised almost to be men, if they were not participating, what would it look like? If women decided to have their own society, there is only so far people can stretch. Like it, I feel like feminine energy is on the brink now. Like they have had enough. They're saying no. The point is that to a certain point, masculine pressure can keep a feminine energy in a stronghold as long as they are afraid of their life, as long as they are afraid of their children's life, their family's life. But it can get so far stretched that eventually they don't care anymore because they're already dying. They don't care anymore. They don't care if they are killed. They don't care if their family is killed because they're already dying. That is an energy that the masculine don't want to meet because they can't control it. I get a feeling of contrast and I get a feeling of severing point. Severing point. Severing of certain ties or severing of commitment or devotion, even though they love the masculine. There is a certain point to which the feminine can stretch herself, even if she loves him, even if she loves their children, even if she loves her son. And she can see that this son is on this self-destructive path. He is hurting himself, he's hurting his body, he is maybe addicted to something. But actually she has to let him potentially hit rock bottom, potentially die. She has to let him drown in his own. We know that we call it interventions, right? If we try to get you have a family member who's addicted to heroin, you want them back, right? You want them back. You want them to be sober. You want them to have a life. You don't want them to run around in the streets. So we make an intervention. We kind of trap them, and then we get them into this clinic where they can detox, right? But the point is that if it's not their own choice, it rarely lasts. Like when they get out of detox, some of them go straight back into drug abuse or drug use, right? Some of them go straight back to their old friends and get back into that environment. If it's not their own choice to become sober, if it's not their own choice to clean up their act, if it's not their own choice to stop playing around, if it's not their own choice, it's like they need to lose enough. They need to feel the edge. It's like they have to get close enough to this black hole that they almost can't get back. Some people have this urge in them. Like it has to be so self-destructive before they stop or before they start changing their life around. It's like they have to face or be almost eaten by the monster. Before they stop. And you can say whatever you want to them. You can plead, you can pray, you can give them shelter, you can do whatever. If they are possessed by a drug or some kind of addictive behavior, it has a lifespan. It's like it has to go on for enough time until it stops. So a masculine hearth fire can be in such a detriment for a longer time than a feminine. Her body will break down. But the feminine can be in this for a long, long, long time. I think even lifetimes. They can stay in it for lifetimes until they get to a life where it's supposed to dismantle. The feminine, not so much. Like eventually the body will stop them. Usually quicker than the masculines. And they can have all well-meaning words, all good intentions to want to help this one who is this stray dog, a rolling stone, someone who is out of balance. They can have all the well-meaning words, all well intentions, but as long as it's not their own decision, they don't stop unless they hit the rock bottom, unless they hit something, unless they fall. It's the only way. So sometimes you just have to wait Like you have to wait for, do your stuff, put in the seeds to the life you want, and you can just wait. There is no other way. Not from a loving perspective. Then if you want to do it differently, then you become a warrior like them, right? You put on the armor and you go to war. Then you enter into this field, you start fighting with them. If you stand from this standpoint, you can retrieve and you can just wait, because eventually this ego trip, this ego self-absorption is hitting a rock bottom. For some, it will be when they become elderly, right? That suddenly it's like they can feel how their power is leaving them, how they become weaker. And this is where they realize that what they may have done, how they may have acted. How they took everything for granted. Without considering the other or their body. How they pressured it. Like how much load they have taken on, which was way too much. My father and my brother are Taurus, and both of them have back injuries, have had operation. I have too. Both of them have back injuries. Both of them are. Taurus are normally known to be actually have a very good health, be very strong, physically strong. They both have had back injuries. They both have a lot of pain in their body. They both eat a lot of pills to manage. I'm still waiting, you know. I'm still waiting for them to recognize their bodies. Like that they have to stop themselves, you know, that they have to stop themselves and they have to stop putting their bodies into way too tough situations. They still, there is no connection. Not until now. I'm looking forward to see if this new moon is making one. If there's a bridge being built. I don't know. I think it's part of New Earth that there's a bridge that needs to be built between the masculine mind space, you could say, and the body. An exchange needs to be made, a bridge. A door needs to be opened. Because when there is an exchange, a flowing exchange, you cannot go against the body. Well, you can try out of habit, right? But actually you can't. You will feel off, like your brain is going to be, you could get headaches maybe. You get dizzy, things like that. I think it's part of the new earth thing, right? That our connection to our bodies, to our heart space, has to become more. And out of habit, we go back from time to time. Out of habit, we go back here, because it's unfamiliar, and maybe some people will find it boring. It's an adjustment and a choice. And you can try to stay here. I'm not sure it's working. Yeah, maybe for masculine earth fire, but not for feminine. It's not working. I don't think so. Not in the long run. This is what I feel like I have for this new moon. Simpler, slower, more organic. Smell the food you eat. Smell, when you make coffee, smell that coffee, right? Become mindful about, try to be mindful. Slow down, touch, don't just grab something. Be respectful, touch it, right? Connect with it in some way. It's many things happen in a very aggressive way. It's not kind. It's not respectful. It's not even aligned. If it was aligned with each other, we wouldn't have depression. We wouldn't have anxiety. We wouldn't have things like that. We wouldn't have divorces if things were aligned, balanced. Okay, this is what I have. I hope this helped. Or, I don't know. Maybe it made you think. Maybe it made you want to sit and connect. Like the true version of this is utter connection. Like this is where my hearth fire is from. It's utter connection. None of these two parts have an ego. None. No of them. None of them have an ego. They're utterly connected. It's very honest. There are no game playing. It can be telepathic, empathic. It's heart connected. There's a heart coherence exchange. It's You're never alone. Like even when if I sit alone, I'm never alone. I can't be. I'm not built like this, like that. I connect with something, always. When people reject me out there, it's because they are here. They want to be here. They have to be here to be in charge, right? They cannot connect with me. If they have to connect with me, they have to dissolve the ego. People don't like me necessarily because of this. I'm asking people to disconnect their ego. They don't like that. I thought something was wrong with me, like when I was growing up. I had no idea. Now I know it's just, well, it's just, I guess, an imprint, a vibrational imprint. People can feel it. If they are around me for a bit, they can feel it. Then they excuse themselves and leave. They don't like it. But it's all right. I understand, right? I understand why people are here. I was too. I had a spiritual awakening. I had no idea. I definitely was here. I was mistreating myself, my body, everything. I felt very uncomfortable there. My spiritual awakening, I had no idea what was going on. No idea. It has taken me years to understand what this was about. Years. Okay, so this is what I have. I wish you the very best, everybody out there. Take care of yourself. Or maybe take care of your body, take care of both of you, right? There could be a feeling of giving of power, becoming vulnerable. There could be a feeling that this is not right. This feels wrong. It feels like I'm going against everything I have used my life to build. It feels like going backwards. I have that feeling. It's like going backwards, not forward. Okay, this is what I have. I hope this helped. Take care of yourself and your bodies out there, especially if you are feminine, earth, fire, right? I send you my best love and light to everyone. Bye bye.